SAFE, the Fly4You game, which is a game that talks about the principles of scaled agile. So multiple teams working together, and they're defining strategy, they're prioritizing their features. Tells you a little bit about what is SAFE, what's the value of SAFE. At least it can be used in that context. There are different roles, like the business owner that defines a strategy, that defines a product manager that defines the priority and the milestones, and then 5 teams are trying to make their own sprint backlogs for the next coming 4 sprints of 2 weeks. The interesting thing is, we have been presenting this game, a lot of ITSMF version in Europe, right? So why would it be interesting for the service managers?
It's an interesting question, because if you talk about SAFE, everybody thinks about development teams typing code and release it as fast as possible with multiple teams. But the fact is that it has a huge impact on how service teams act in an organization. One thing that we saw happening a few years ago is that more and more IT operation activities are moving to development teams. And think about DevOps, development, operations. So what we see is that the way of working in IT service teams is changing. Well, you can be very defensive and say, okay, if that's what you want, and I find another job, no agile. Or you can say, let's try to change the mindset of service-oriented people in service organizations, so they understand what's happening around them and find their place in this fast deploying organization.
Okay, yeah.
So that means if you put some service-oriented people into the simulation, they understand their position. In this game, there isn't a separate IT department at the beginning. And there is always discussion, why do we have a separate IT department?
And why is it not part of the development team?
Exactly. And the discussion is, do you really want a development team to change a crucial part of your infrastructure? Do you want them to manage the configuration database? Do you want them to receive all the incidents? Or do you want to be the first contact and second line support?
Or how do you make space in your sprint backlog so issues get solved?
Exactly. Yeah. So I think what we saw in ITSMF Sweden, when we both delivered this demo, that even service people like this game say, now I understand what's happening around me. Yeah? And maybe you should not be an expert in SAFE, but this will give you a glance of what is SAFE and how does it work.
Especially in our customers that have a hybrid way of organizing their IT services, right?
Yeah, and this simulation is a real, well, it's not like the other simulations that we built. This is a journey simulation, which means we don't have 4 identical rounds in terms of dynamic, but we pull the students through a life cycle of a program incremental, with starting with strategy, then prioritizing backlog, then API planning, and then execution. So they can feel what is the cadence in our organization.
Yep.